The views and opinions expressed on this network and within its contents are those of the guests and secondary hosts, and do not necessarily reflect the positions or viewpoints of the Lens of Yashu Network, the host Josh, also known as Yashu, and the TLOY Talks podcast.
All right, hello everyone. This is Josh, also known as Yashu. You're just tuning into another episode of the TLOY Talks podcast. You can get this on all platforms: Spotify, podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout, Patreon, much more. On Patreon, we have like a variety of tiers for a variety of folks that want to like get access to different perks, like different like stuff and all that too. So like the highest perks, you're gonna get like a lot of the stuff with that highest tier, and then with the basic perks, you're just gonna get like the basic tier within that. But yo, I'm just gonna get this like started right here. So this is actually a childhood friend of mine that I knew since like high school. Now she is a successful photographer and creative that's been capturing like a lot of images in the dancehall scene and in the Toronto event and music scenes as well too. Has worked with the likes of 450, Nayla Blackman, Jada Kingdom, Spice at any like event throughout there too. Prevalent within like the dance hall and event scenes too, from capturing many images and all other content too, and has done like a lot of photography work within the portrait scenes and within various like event, wedding, and family scenes too, and recently worked with the likes of Supreme Swiss as well too. So I have my childhood friend Angie here, but she goes by ShotsByDrea. So Angie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Like I know you were like working like very hard like way since like high school too, and like even like I kind of like noticed that method too. Like when you first started photography too, that was actually with like Mystilio and all that too in a photography
shout
class.
out to Mystilio.
For sure, and like even with the like yearbook community too, like I know that you were like doing like a lot of photos from there too, and then I think it kind of just like went into like a full like like a full steam ahead too, with just like with this like new stuff you have too with the ShotsByDrea like platform and all that too.
Yep.
Taking like a lot of photos, being at like a lot of events too, and I mean, it's been going up from there, so.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely want to like get into your story for a bit too. Like I knew like 100%. A little bit more like about you too from some of our encounters within high school too, and from that too. But like I want to get like into the very beginning. So you were like born and raised in Toronto, right?
Yeah, born and raised from Toronto.
Okay. So like which ends did you like kind of grow up with, and like what was like that environment like for you, like kind of like growing up?
I grew up in a small community downtown Toronto, like Ossington and Bloor. Growing up over there was nice, small community. It was challenging at times, but it was pretty good. Right. Yeah.
And like that experience like growing up too, like was it like a good experience like growing up?
Honestly, growing up it was a good experience. I had both my parents in my life, all my siblings as well. They were always there for me, so I applaud them because I was not an easy child growing up.
Oh, true.
But they've been there for me. It's been supportive.
Oh, true. And like from the start of like birth until like now and all that too, like what was like that whole like process like? Was it something like kind of like like just enjoying like the life too from like elementary to middle school to like high school and all that? Or
honestly, transitioning from elementary to high school was like a big challenge for me because again, anyone that's going to high school, you're like, oh my gosh, like now I'm in high school, like there's so many challenges that's going to be coming your way. But honestly, the transition wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
Yeah. And like I know like our time from like high school too, like I know like you were like very like active a lot too, just you were like very outgoing, very social and all that. Like I know like a lot of people like you hung out with too, like you were like a vibe to like hang out with. Like I remember our times like I think at Windsor too, like I know we were like on a field trip.
That trip to Windsor, I remember that.
Yeah, that was like a sick time back then. Like I remember
it was.
Yeah. Like I remembered it was like me, you, this kid named like Xavier and all that too. And,
like, you remember? Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, he's like still doing his thing too, but I just haven't heard from him for a bit too. And then I think there was like another person as well too. But I think even within that time, like we just like learned a lot too from our experiences and like getting to see like different environments too. And then like led to graduation and everything else too. And then I think like it led to your journey like within like you were like doing like social work and now like photography like in that sense too. So
100%.
But I want to get into like that whole journey within photography. So like how did you first get introduced to it?
So I ended up starting doing videography first. I ended up working with a DJ, shout out DJ Bravado. He was also looking for someone just to take content for him, handle his social medias. So I was like, hey, like I'll do it because I'm always here. We started at a small club or a small lounge in Vaughan called Lashish. And then they ended up going to a bigger place as well. And then going from there, I ended up working for the owner, and then I kind of slowly transitioned into photography.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you primarily working with like Nikon or Canon or Sony?
Sony all the way.
All right.
Sony. Yeah.
Sure, that's proper, And so, how did you take that into like the next like level, like as a full on career and all that? Like, what was like that like moment, like in that sense?
So transitioning from videography to photography, I ended up again working with a lot of DJs at Lashish, and then it was so funny because one day I was at my sister's house and we were playing around with the camera, and I accidentally just took a photo, and I'm just like, that actually looks sick. And then a light bulb came into my head. I'm like, you know what? Let me run with it. So I went on Amazon, ordered a quick flash, ordered a camera bag, and then I just started teaching myself photography. Google was my best friend. YouTube was my best friend. And then, I started going up to concerts, small little events, taking pictures with a lot of artists, and then it kind of just slowly transitioned up from there.
All right, that's blessed too. And, like even within that sense, was it something that you originally like wanted to kind of do growing up, or like what was like that other like aspiration?
Honestly, even in high school, I was taking photography with Miss Delio as well. It was always at the back of my mind, but again, my career was being a social worker. And then I just like, you know what, honestly, I really miss that drive and that passion for photography. So I'm like, let me get back into it.
All right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had like any like inspirations like when it comes to like the whole journey within photography too, or was it something that was like kind of like self-made? Like it was like, I'm your own like inspiration, like in that sense.
In a sense, yes. Like I'm in my own inspiration because going out, I used to take pictures, and I'm like, honestly, the ambition and the drive behind it really meant something. So I'm like, you know what? Let me pursue it. Let me push through it.
All right, that's proper. And when you first worked on like your first like major like shoot, like how did you like come like along with it too, like within that process of start to finish?
So my first big project was 2024 when 450 came to Rebel. One of my DJs reached out to me and was like, hey, Drea, like I want you to be able to come take some content, come take some behind the scene pictures. I'm like, okay, cool. The nerves within me were rising. I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my God, this is like my first big event. A lot of mistakes were made, but again, that comes with the journey when you're learning. But the process was easy. I learned a lot from it, to be honest. You just kind of got to keep the ball rolling, right? So it was good.
Yeah, like and I know with like a lot of like concert photography, like nowadays too, like there's like two types that you're doing it. You're either like shooting it like in the stage, like in the back of the stage, or you're like in that photo pit too. So was it like a process that like you started off like in the photo pit like first too, and then you moved to like like the big stage and all that?
Yeah, so I was usually behind the stage getting content as well. Then I kind of transitioned to the stage, going into the pit, going into the balcony, trying to get different angles as well. So it was challenging because you're trying to run to the left, run to the right, try to get good angles. Yeah.
And like, being like with like other like photographers like too and all that too. Because I know like even in like the pit, like I know like a lot of like photographers start off like in the photo pit and all that. And it's like you're only getting like images from there too. It's like, the first 3 songs and then you're out and all that.
Yeah.
But I think with dancehall and like, with other events, it's kind of like more laxed where like everyone can shoot throughout the entire like event.
Yeah, 100%. You're able to shoot throughout the whole event. Yeah.
True. And like what's your like creative approaches like when you deal with like a project, like let's say you're shooting at a concert, or like let's say you have like a photo shoot like with a person and all that too. So what's that creative approach like?
I always try to do something new. Always try to find something different. Again, sometimes I just open my laptop, open my iPad, and I'm like, let me throw some color on this. Let me throw some black and white. I don't feel like I'm scared to step out of my comfort zone or step out of the box to try new things, because you never know how it's going to end up or turn out, right? So, yeah.
And like every day is like pretty much like different and all that too. Like one day you're going to be dealing with like, let's say like a family like photo shoot too, or like one day it's just like one like person like only two. So like what would that day be like, and like how like that process would be?
So usually again, like, so recently 2 weeks ago I had like a family photo shoot. Again, just kind of setting up my camera, my lens and everything like that. Usually when I'm done my shoots, I kind of just pop in my SD card. I like to kind of get editing right away so I can see how the process is, how the pictures look, how they turn out, and then just try to edit it and get rid of what I don't want, and then kind of send the clients their pictures right away.
True.
Yeah.
And as far as like like finding like the studio, like finding like the location, all that too, is it something that like you try to like find like in that sense, or is it like more like the clientele, like they have a set spot they want to like shoot at?
It depends on the client. So some clients will book like an actual photo shoot, and then I'll be their photographer. I have a package called Lifestyle Photos where it's just like you can go downtown, any other spots. Those ones I kind of choose and I kind of recommend to certain clients. Hey, let's go to Yorkdale, or I know a place downtown, like whether it's like stairs with lights, try to get that atmosphere, the good lighting. So, yeah.
All right, that's blessed. And like you talked about, like even with the whole like concert stuff nowadays too. So primarily you've shot like a lot of like dancehall stuff, and like even with like a lot of like soca stuff too. So examples being like Spice, Jada Kingdom, Masika, 450, most recently too like Valiant as well too. So what made you decide like on covering like those scenes like for concert photography aside from like other genres?
To be honest, I love dancehall. I love where it's going in the industry as of right now. 450 was my first dancehall artist, and I said, meeting new people, loving the environment, having that experience. I'm like, this is where I want to be. Yeah.
Okay. That's blessed. And like from like those like concerts too, were there like any like experiences or like any like key moments like that kind of like you witnessed that that you kind of like enjoyed like in that end too, or like any stories from those events?
Yeah, so it's mostly interacting with the artist before and after the show. Again, I like having conversations with them. Usually what I'll do, I'll kind of just flip through a few photos and show the artist, hey, like these are the pictures that I took. When the artist kind of reposts your photo, for a photographer, you're just like, yes, like the artist actually likes your picture, or when they like or when they comment, it's a good feeling as a photographer because you're like, yay, like they like your photo, right? So I think those are the key moments for me, just kind of interacting with them and allowing them to see my work and what I'm presenting to them.
All right, that's blessed. And like as far as like like the certain ones too, like are they kind of like different from how they were like in the like whole like music personas too? Because I know with like certain artists too, they usually have that persona like in the stage and in the videos and all that too, but like when you meet them like in real life, like it's a whole like totally different story and all that.
Honestly, these artists that I work with, they're so humble. A lot of people may have a different perception on them, but to be honest, they're down to earth, they're humble, they are human at the end of the day, so they're really down to earth.
All right, that's blessed. And I think like maybe like the fans, like like in the concerts, like do they tend to notice that too, or is it like like a whole totally different side, like from being in the backstage area versus being like in the crowd and all that?
I feel like as a fan attending those concerts, they're just there enjoying that moment. Like they're in the moment, their adrenaline's rushing. They're like, yeah, like this artist performing my song. They're taking selfies, they're taking pictures. Again, and all the artists are hype and they're interacting with their fans as well. Versus when they're backstage, they're more calm because they just came off of the stage. Yeah. They're more relaxed, but they're still themselves. They're still,
And how is it like like even like photographing like at these events, and even like your work being covered like at a bigger like level like within that community, like in that sense too? Was it something that people like kind of had to like give like props to you like in that sense too?
Yeah, a lot of people they show me love and they support me. To be honest, in the beginning, I didn't even expect the love that they're showing me now, because I'm just a girl from Toronto taking pictures, doing what I love, right? So, having a lot of people from their management team reaching out to me, it means a lot.
All right,
right?
That's proper. Yeah. That's proper. And like even like working from like the first like photography project until now, have you ever felt like you've grown as a creative and like as a photographer in that sense?
100%, because doing 450 compared to doing like a year in the field as well, my pictures have changed. I felt like I've grown as a photographer when it comes to my editing style, my communication skills, me being more professional. Again, I've learned a lot of mistakes that I made from before and just kind of transitioned and done better.
True. Yeah. As far as like artists that you want to like cover, like maybe like in the next like rum and all that too, or like some artists that you want to like take photos of, or just like even like work
Chris
with,
Brown. Honestly, I felt like Chris Brown and the Baby and a lot of R&B artists I want to tap into. Again, I still have a lot of way to go, but I feel like that's another niche for me to tap into.
Yeah, true. Oh, that's facts. I think like one quick way too, like this is like for me like kind of like giving like game a little bit too. I know with Live Nation, like a lot of these like artists too, like as you said with Chris Brown, the Baby, they perform primarily at those events too, or like if it's from like a niche like concert like promoter too, like they'll have a site where you could actually like apply for like media credentials too, and like
100%.
And then you just kind of like if you have like a publication that you work for, if there's like people that you like work with too, like you get the connect, you just like apply there, and then you just like wait until you kind of get accepted, or if they decline and all that too. And I think it works for like a variety of artists too, because I know there's a thing called like Media Pass that
Media Pass
that actually does that for like some of the artists too, and then even like some publications too, like they'll actually like reach out to these concerts and these events too, and like you could actually like be there shooting the shows and all that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I do definitely see you like, you know, taking photos of like, you know, like people like Vibes Cartel.
Oh, I wish. Oh Lord, I wish. Tell you right now.
Shensia would be like pretty dope too. Alkaline.
I actually did Alkaline last year, June, and I cried because I'm like, honestly, that is my favorite artist, and to be able to be in the same room as him, take pictures, you know, for him to even look at my page and like a picture, my heart melts. Yeah, to be honest. Yeah.
True. Even like, you know, like some like reggae like legacy acts too, like Cham would, like, I know you did Cham and all that too, but
I did.
even like Shaggy would be like pretty dope and all that.
It wasn't me.
Shabba Ranks, like list goes on to, I think like even in that scene too, like having like those photos, like it definitely like represents well, you know. So
100%.
Yeah. I know with photography and like in the creative like industries too, there are like a lot of like misconceptions that do tend to go on to, and like there's like things that, you know, that may be seen as like real, but it's actually like the opposite too. So like what are like misconceptions about the photography and like creative scene industries that you'd like to share and all that?
So last year there was a few promoters that I reached out to. Again, I'm just probably like 7-8 months into the game. I'm like, hey, like I want to be able to do like your boat parties, right? They didn't allow me to do it because I was a female, right? And to me, that kind of stuck out because it's just like, pause. Why do you feel like I'm not able to complete the task because I'm a female? I can do exactly what the male photographer does, if not even better, right? Like you didn't even give me a chance. So I felt like in that sense, like they were kind of being like a little bit judgmental and not be able to just give me that experience because I was a female. Because I've done a lot of, I've done one of the hottest soca DJs boat parties. It was like maybe like 500, 600 people, and I did it all on my own, right? And so it's just like, allow us to be able to show you what we can do, right? Not just because I'm a female, you don't want to end up booking me, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, that's facts. And I think like even like I'm gonna do like a whole like 182. Like when you notice like with like black women like in the whole like photo and creatives like industries and all that too, I feel like they get like their more trust like within like other like black women like as well too. Like I think when black women like look for like other photographers to cover them, most likely they want like a black woman to cover like that imagery, that to cover that art and all that too. Like they notice that they can't trust like any other man or even like any other like white person that might do it too, because I think you know, like they're not going to show the experience in the right way as well too, as opposed to like a black woman who will show like the full on experience, like the full on like imagery too. And I think it like depends from scene to scene too, because
it does.
Yeah, because I know with like with certain promoters and certain people and all that too, they do want to see it from like a flashier type of scene too. They want to see it from a scene where, you know, it's like very different from what a black woman would expect and all that too. So they would expect like, you know, more of clavish type feel and all that too, more of a, you know, highly
a little edge to it,
like highly like sexualized and all that too, and like maybe that's not like what the imagery is like about too. Like maybe it's like more about with like within clothing, you know, like within like symbolism too with the clothing, and
100%.
You know, it varies from time to time. You know,
it does vary. Yeah, you're right.
And like as far as like even like, you know, working with like other photographers too, like have you ever noticed like it was like kind of like that whole same feeling as well?
Yes and no. Like I've worked with a lot of other female photographers. A lot of other female photographers, they're killing it in the game. Shout out to Tasia, shout out to Jessica, Black Panda, Tori, like all these other photographers, they're killing it. And I feel like we're about to take over these male photographers because we have that. We got that.
For sure. Like I know like even like for like Real Bad Girls of the 6-2, and like I think this other one called like the whole like dancehall thing too with Shay Sweetums and I think Spellcast.
Yeah.
Like if they have like, you know, like even like photo like promo stuff too, they should get like more like, you know, black women to like cover the photos and all that things like that too, because I think like that is like pretty like relatable in a way. You know?
It is relatable. Yeah.
For sure. And as far as like, you know, like looking for a client, like what do you tend to like look for like in a client nowadays?
To be honest, as long as the client's professional, you know, they're able to take directions, they're able to be open to try new things, new ideas. I feel like I'm able to work with any client as long as we kind of meet those standards and those grounds.
All right, that's blessed. And like, were there ever like any like situations that you've dealt with, like, you know, bad clients or, you know, you gave services that they felt like was like very like different, like in a way too, like maybe like something that they like didn't expect and all that?
So so there was this one client I was working on, I think it was Labor Day weekend or Victoria weekend, I can't remember, but I ended up doing a lifestyle photo shoot for this one client on Thursday, and then I had a straight booking straight until Monday. So she reached out to me, she's like, hey Drea, like would I be able to get my pictures by this weekend? I said, hun, to be honest, I'm not too sure, but I'm going to try my best just because I have bookings straight back to back. I was like, I'll try my best. Okay, cool. The next day, I woke up and she's reaching out to like all my DJs, all my friends. She's just like, hey, like I'm trying to get in touch with Drea. I want my pictures. But it's like I kind of explained to her in the right way, hun, I'll get them to you as soon as I can. Like just give me a couple of days, right? But again, you know, she wanted them when she wanted them. And certain clients, you can't really... what's the word I'm looking for? You have to just be able to be professional and communicate with them as frequently as you can as well to make sure that you guys are both on the same page. But that kind of threw me off because I'm just like, whoa, okay, 360.
Yeah, I know what you mean too. Because I know they want like something like right away too. Like even like with this like podcasting stuff too. I've had like situations where if we like finish recording and like they'll text you like a minute or two
the next day. Can I get my pictures? Are they ready?
Pretty much, you know. And like it's like, you know, even for me too, like sometimes you would have to like wait for the files, or like sometimes you would have to put them, because like I think with everyone, we all have jobs, we all have like stuff like within day to days, we have 9 to 5s, like bills to pay and all that too.
We're
and
human.
Like, yeah, exactly. And I think like what people don't get it is that, you know, like they see like, hey, like maybe there's like one work that covers everything, but maybe it only covers like a fragment of the day and all that too. And like the ones that are highly successful and like successful and, you know, like they're doing this like for like a long-term thing, sometimes they have like probably like 5 to 10, 15 clients, and
100%,
and they have to do like, you know, synchronized emails like one day or another and all that too, you know. So
and I felt like because I was just in the game and I'm like, oh Lord, like I'm the only one doing all of this, right? So I'm like, I'm trying to catch up, I'm trying to do my best that I can. So again, it comes with experience and just kind of learn from that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And like one thing that I'd like, you know, like recommend to like even in a situation like that too, you know, like an expedited fee too and all that, you know, like if you want them as like fast as like possible and all that too, like hey,
have
maybe
an extra charge or just
exactly. Yeah. And like in any like given situation too, like I've actually asked this with like a lot of like videographers in the Toronto like music industry and all that too, where there's like this like one example of this guy named David Del Rosario who wanted to quit like doing like videography because, you know, they were like expecting like free or like, you know, like very like low budget like type stuff and all that too, and like, you know, he kind of explained it accordingly to like, this is his life, this is like something that he works hard on to, and like in a situation like that for you and all that, if a person were to ask you for your services and they either request to work with like a very like reduced budget that you're not really like into, or if they want like services for free, like how would you handle that? And were there like situations where they wanted to do that in that sense?
I'm always willing to work with the client as well. I feel like if they're able to meet me halfway, or if they're able to meet me halfway, then we can work. Again, certain clients, you know, you may want to do a collaboration with, that even works as well. But again, I feel like communication is the best way, or even trying to meet the client halfway or meet it in the middle, so both of you guys can have a good understanding.
True. And as far as like other like projects or clients, are there like certain ones that you won't like really like take on and all that too? Like let's say if it's like something that's like kind of like out of your like expertise and all that, or something that doesn't like align with like your values and all that.
No, I feel like I would work with a lot of people or like a lot of different clients. Again, as long as they're professional and, you know, I'm able to help them and accommodate them, I feel like I would work with a lot of different clients, yes.
All right, that's cool. Yeah. Like this is like something that I just like kind of like made like on the spot too. Have you ever felt that like with like black women, or like, you know, like black women like clientele and all that, they trusted you like a lot more with like their art than like any other person, like in that sense?
Yeah, when it comes to my lifestyle photos, you know, a lot of my girls are black mixed, right? So they're like, you know what, Drea, I trust you. Take my picture. A lot of them don't know how to pose, so they're open to me guiding them on how to pose as well. So they're very trusting in that sense.
True. Yeah. And have they ever like shared like their experiences where they might have like worked with like another like photographer who might be like of a different gender or a different background, and they felt like, you know, that's like something they kind of like regret and all that?
Yeah. I had one client tell me that they were working with a male photographer, and again, as a female photographer, you know, photographing girls, you know, there's certain things and certain details on a girl you may want to fix, like maybe her hair, or like, okay, hun, your skirt's kind of hike half up, half down, let me just fix it. So those are certain little details that I feel like a lot of girls do respect. Again, a male photographer, as long as, you know, in their eyes they look good, they're gonna capture the moment, right? So
yeah, that's facts. And like I know like a lot of them too, like I know like with some people you need to hire like makeup artists, or you need to hire like certain people to kind of do like that whole like setup and all that too. So was it something that like, you know, they kind of had to do on their own too, or like, you know, like you kind of like figured out like in your way, like, hey, we'll get like a male, like a hairstylist or like a makeup artist to kind of help out with the shoots, because I know they do the tags of like hair, MUA and all that.
Yeah. A lot of these girls, they come hair ready, makeup ready. Some clients I do recommend like a makeup artist rather in Brampton or Toronto. But yeah, a lot of them do come ready to shoot.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That's facts. I'm gonna sound like a broken record on this one too, but
It's okay.
have you ever felt like, you know, like even as like a black woman too, like you had to compete or work twice as hard to gain like the same respect as like a male photographer or like someone who's like white and all that?
Starting off in the industry, again, 450 being the first concert that I did, I was the only female photographer. So that kind of stood out to me. I'm just like, oh, Lord, there's like a lot of male photographers here. In that moment, I always try to take away, you know, something from that moment and learn from it. I try to just be able to focus on my craft and do the best that I can do. But yeah.
True. And like I know with like mental health too, like I know like it's like something that's like very important like in that way too. So like how do you even like deal with your mental health as like, you know, someone in your expertise too? Like was it something that it could be like very overwhelming with like a lot of like projects and like stuff going on and all that?
Yeah, there's days and there's moments where it's like it's overwhelming because you do have personal stuff that you're dealing with as well. I always suggest, again, just take a day for yourself, self-care, you know, focus on yourself, being able to, you know, take time away, and then the next day go back straight to the drawing board. Even if it's like a friend or a family member that you feel to talk to, kind of get it off your chest. You know, having someone in your corner always does help when it comes to mental health. So, yeah.
And I guess it's like, you know, like just like going out for like walks or like eating dinner or like just like watching TV and all that.
Anything that you like to do like on a normal day. Yeah.
You have any like kind of like hobbies or any like key interests like aside from like photography and all that?
Sleep.
All right.
I'm like, no, but honestly, I like to draw. A lot of people don't know that. I always buy like little coloring books at the dollar store. I like to draw. It kind of frees my mind a little bit, or even color. So yeah.
That's true. I know, like in my opinion too, I think there has to be like this like whole like event thing where, you know, people just like do like some painting or like like coloring book type stuff and all that too. Like I know they do it with like pottery and like you know you like paint and like sip wine and all that too. But I feel like with a coloring book and like sip wine or something like that too, like I think that could be like highly like essential and all that too. You know?
It does. It helps. It relaxes me. Even like if I'm on the plane or I'm like a little bit nervous, I just kind of like, okay, Drea, what am I gonna do next? Come on, focus.
True. I want to talk about like the chains for a bit too. So like, what were like the backstories of those chains and all that? You know?
So I'm very open. So the first chain I got, it says "Stay Humble." I got it from Shein. Honestly, it means a lot to me because it's just like, even though it's just like a little piece of jewelry, to me it means a lot because, you know, no matter what you go through in life and no matter what you're facing, you still have to stay humble because God will take away a lot of things from you quickly, right? If you're, you know, trying to fast track too much, or if you're trying to, you know, do something that's out of the ordinary. So I always feel like I always got to stay humble.
All right.
Got to stay humble.
And then I think it's like the RR, right? Or like...
Yeah. Honestly, it looked cute, so I just kind of put it on.
True. All right. That proper. Nah, it's a cool, like, flexy, like, either way, too, you know.
It looks nice, so I ain't gonna lie, I like it.
True. I feel, you know, and, you know, being that we're all from, like, Toronto, like, in that sense, too, so how do you even feel about the whole, like, Toronto and GTA creative scenes, like, at the moment? Do you feel that there should be some changes on the direction of this, where the scene should go to, or you feel like it's fine the way it is?
I feel like it's going well, especially in the, you know, creative department, arts department, whatever it may be. I feel like everyone's kind of working together. Everyone's collaborating. Everyone's, you know, putting in that extra drive. Everybody's hungry. Everybody wants to make. Everybody wants to, you know, do what they love to do. So I feel like it's going in a good direction.
All right, that's facts. And like, I mean, there's like a lot of like events that cater to it as well too. I mean, I know like last year we had like the Players Ball and all that too, with like TLOY and like those people, Toronto top six and all that. Like that was like a proper thing too. And legacy awards too. Like they still do it like every other year and all that too.
Yeah.
I know you do need like like some like press coverage for that too, but I think that's something that like a lot of people should take on, like whether they're doing photography or like, other content as well too.
Get the experience, 100%.
Exactly, and even like these like minor events like happening like all over the city too. I feel like it's like a key importance and like like taking a part of it and like even doing like some creative works and all that So I don't know if you have any like key events that you even like want to like shoot like sometime like in this like upcoming year, or if it's like something like more recently and all that.
Honestly, I want to get into basketball, like shooting like the players. I've done it last year with Toronto Rapstars, and I loved it. I liked it. The pictures came out sick. Again, networking with each and every individual. So I feel like that's something I might want to tap into, like on the sports side.
All right, true. Yeah. I mean, even like the college stuff too. Like I know like they'll have like the whole like college like ball type thing. So whether you're at Durham or whether you're at Humber, Seneca, George Brown, even like Loyalist, which is like all the way like I think in Belleville and all that too. And then I mean Sheridan, like they need like a lot of like photographers like for their games and for their events too. Even like the high school ones too. Like those are like ones that are like very important too. And like actually one thing, I was actually at this like photo studio like for like some work and all that too, and like basically it was like a photo thing that kind of happened too, like with the photo shoot, and it was like a basketball team that kind of came by, like did their photos and all that too, and they had like their group of people that could like take the photos and just kind of worked out. So something like that where you're doing like promo photos for them too, or like media day photos, like
that's actually good, because getting behind the scenes is always the key elements, because a lot of people do want that behind the scene footage as well. So I think it's good. Yeah.
And like even like on the videography side too, I mean Twitch is like also like a very big thing that like most people too, and they do need like some videographers or like some people to do like the whole like IRL like type stuff too. So like I think like that's like a lane that works if you still want to do like the whole like videography like lane and all that.
Yeah. I feel like I am doing more photography than videography, but I'm still gonna do videography as well. True. Yeah.
We just have like these like final questions for a bit too, but being a hardworking and consistent like creative like in a way too, how do you manage to provide like longevity to your work in that sense?
Honestly, consistency. We're all human. We all go through our personal issues. However, when you really want something, that drive is always going to be there. That hunger is always going to be there. That want's always going to be there. So it's just like staying consistent. Being determined to be able to get things done. Again, keyword consistency.
True.
Yeah.
Sick, And as far as like the biggest like cosign that you like kind of like got and all that too, like who was like the biggest cosign that you got from like your work like as a photographer like in a way?
Like as an artist or
anyone, like it could be like an IG model, it could be like a very big artist. Or
I would say 450 and Valiant.
All right.
Yeah, their road managers reached out to me, so anytime they're in Toronto, Drea, hey, we're coming. I need you. I'm there.
All right.
Yeah.
True. And like, would you like even do like the whole like overseas type stuff too? Like even like take photos like in Jamaica or like on Yard or on like Trinidad, anything like that?
I actually have a booking coming up. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I'll be in Jamaica this summer.
All right.
I'll be in Jamaica this summer.
True. And like there's like a lot of people that want to be in your footsteps too, like even like young black girls that are like doing like photography or they want to be creative like in that sense too. So what would be like some good advice that you would give to them, or like to any like aspiring like creative that wants to be in your footsteps?
I would say keep going, don't stop. Don't be scared to reach out to people, don't be scared to be different, don't be scared to try new things. A lot of people may think what you may not like, a lot of people may like, and a lot of people may be looking up to them, but they may not know, right? So continue to strive for the best. Even if you want to do collaborations, I feel like starting out as collaborations could be good, because one collaboration can open so many doors after that for you, right? So continue to strive and don't stop.
All right, proper. Yeah. As far as like plans for the rest of the year too, like I know you have like a lot of like booked gigs like throughout like 2026 and thereof, but I don't know if you have like any other plans like even like for like other creative work and all that.
I do. I have a few projects coming up. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I have a few projects coming up. Honestly, it's out of my box, but I'm so grateful, and I'm so excited for this new journey, and I'm just hoping, God willing, it goes well.
All right. And do you have any like closing remarks to say and all that?
I just want to say thank you so much for bringing me on your podcast. I really do appreciate it. And to anyone out there, if what I would want to say is never give up. Always put God first. No matter what you do and anything that you do, put God first. Always pray, stay humble, and just be yourself and be authentic. It goes a long way. Trust me, it goes a long way.
Proper. I think that's like something that we could like definitely like close off to. And Angie was like dope having you on too. Like,
Thank
I'm not even gonna
you.
front. You know, you're actually like the second person from like high school that came onto the pod and all this.
Who
like,
was the first? I want to know.
You know Carlos D'Souza?
Oh, you had Carlos?
Yeah,
Oh.
him, the Happy Feet guy and all that too. So that was like I think like one of like the first like ever podcast like we had like that we did like
Yeah.
live and all that too. We might have to do, like a part
Crazy.
2. We had him, his boy Sheldon from like Happy Feet, and they spoke more about their stuff and all that too. But
I'm pretty sure that went well.
Yeah, not pretty pretty much went well, but I think this one was like also pretty good too because I feel like when you do communicate with someone from high school, it's like a full circle moment that you know you get to rekindle, like communicate, like years
And reconnect,
later,
yeah,
like
100%.
relearn like a lot of stuff too because what you were like in high school may be different from who you are like now and all that, you know. So it's like you know something that we do take to like learn on and all that too. Like for myself, you know, I'm like very different from like what I was like back in high school too, and like
A lot of us are.
a lot of us are, and like it changes like throughout the way, and you know
It
that leads to
does.
growth, you know.
It does. Yeah.
And I wish like nothing but success for you, your brand, your
Thank
platform,
you.
and
Thank you.
keep going. Like I want to see like the Vibes Cartel photo shoot or like
Listen, which camera am I looking at? Vibes Cartel, if you can hear me, I would love to shoot with you. Yeah.
or like Chris Brown too, you know. So
Listen, honestly, I went to his concert last year. It was a birthday gift to myself. Again, I wish I walked with my camera, but I think I would have been mad because it was raining. But honestly, it was a good moment. But yeah.
yeah, I remember like even with that whole like Chris Brown thing too, like because I know he would pick like one girl from like
From the
the stage and
stage.
all that too, and like they would have like the whole like special moment, but
Yeah.
then the $1,000 like meet and greets, like that was like the most like
Honestly, these girls are getting their money's worth, right? Like Chris Brown is actually interacting with their fans, you know, and then a lot of artists were just like, "Oh, I want to do that," right? So I think it's like a trend that he started, but it's
Would
going
you-
good. Yeah.
Would you ever like pay like 1K to meet Chris Brown?
Who?
Chris Brown.
Me.
Yeah.
Um, yes and no. You know what I mean? But I mean, again, some moments for some people, it's like it's an experience. You're not gonna get it back. So, I mean, yeah.
All right, proper. Yeah, no, I mean, it could happen like in some ways too. Like if you have like the money or if you have like the funds and all that too, like definitely like go for it too. And like
100%.
like if you pay like 1K for like maybe someone else, maybe it's just you get to stand between them like in one area and then you get like shoot fly, don't go away and all that too. So it's like
Yeah.
with Chris Brown, it's like you could have that moment, communicate things like that, and
100%.
you know you get a good photo and all that too, and like you know bragging rights, you know. So
For me, it's the experience. I'm like, I actually got to be in the same room with you. I got to have a small conversation with you. That's a moment I'm always going to cherish, right? So, yeah.
for sure. And I'm just gonna look at this camera right here. So this is Josh, also known as Yashu. Another episode of the TLOY Talks podcast. You can get this on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout, much more. Definitely book Angie for your next shoot on ShotsByDrea and all that too. You're gonna get like some of your best photos from there and all that too. So if you have the money, if you have like everything else, like definitely go for it. You know, like you're gonna get like your money's worth with the photos, with the content, and everything else too. And like there's like a link in the bio for that, like on our page and all that too. And like like there's like the payment packages and all that too. So whatever works for you for your budget and all that too, like definitely like take it in. Definitely check out a lot of the stuff on the IG and all that too. You're gonna see like a lot of like good photos from there. And
Appreciate it.
support a black woman, support a black business, like either way too. So definitely tap in,
Your favorite celebrity photographer, Drea.
for sure. Yeah, this is Josh, also known as Yashu, with Angie, aka ShotsByDrea, signing off.
Bye, guys.